okay? That's how they see it. Masculinity to them is hyperstophilia. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, if you're not a criminal to them, they don't believe you're a man. You know, I done seen dudes, you know, tell women, you know, you got to bear with me. You know, I did some crimes in my past, and, you know, I'm a changed man, and this and that. And I see women secretly wet up. Because, see, when women secretly wet up, a lot of men don't know when a woman's getting wet secretly. Because women are the most secretive, catty-like creatures when it comes to what makes them horny in person. Like, women don't just tell you, hey, that make me horny. It's very rare you find them like that. You have to watch their behavior and really, really kind of mitigate their personality type and see when she's getting hot and when she's not. You see what I'm saying? Straight up. That's what you have to do. Damn, it's just my turn.
Here's what I find very interesting, right? You see, the reason why most humanoid appearance females on planet Earth tend to go for guys that's like, you know, considered so-called Satanists or whatever, right? It's because, like, you know, most females in general, who, especially the ones who try to fit in to be popular and try to feel like, you know, superior, you know, the females who had that superior complex, they go for the guys that's considered like so-called Satanist criminals or whatever, smooth criminals or whatever, you know, smooth talkers, you know, like deceivers. Because like a lot of these females, majority of them, they don't go for guys who's already built of perfection, because they feel like they'll feel inferior to these guys who are labeled conspiracy theorists or some shit like that. Like guys who have that godly energy, that godly frequency that's just out of this world. So most females tend to go for guys who are considered, you know, Satanists, aka thugs or whatever, because they try to convert them and they see those so-called narcissistic thugs as projects to try to, like, you know, build them up. And a lot of females in the Christian spirituality, zodiac spirituality, all these spirituality trends that you see a lot of females be posting on social media, they go for guys that they see as projects, such as these so-called narcissistic Satanist thugs or whatever, because they trying to convert them to be these so-called perfect men, that the so-called like guys who don't fit in the matrix, that are original, that's already perfect themselves. You feel me? So like most females, they don't like it when a guy is like equal to them. They don't like it when a guy's equal to them. That's why the guys who are labeled conspiracy theorists or labeled geeks, you know, most females that have that superior complex, they don't go for them because they feel like, man, like he just too perfect for me. Like he too supportive. Like he have too much control of himself. So I gotta have a guy who don't got control of himself, because, you know, a lot of the narcissistic thugs, they don't have control over themselves. So it's like, you know, those fucking fake spiritual females, they'll tend to go for guys who they see as projects to try to convert and work on. Because like most those females who had that superior complex, you know, they are problematic for sure. Most of the problematic females are the females that be in college fraternities, you know, worshiping some savior all day and some slave owner spirituality. It's all facts, man. It's all facts for real, man. And the thing with the humanoid guys, right? You know, they just go for females that are just like them, you know, because guys don't really care about that superior complex the way most females be having. You know, that's why you always hear a lot of problems where, you know, a lot of the so-called conspiracy theorists labeled guys, the guys who are just out of this world, they always have the complaints about like why most of these females, like, you know, they don't go for guys who's like built to perfection, who is just like, you know, have that soulful vibrational frequencies, right? It's because like most females just had that superior complex where they want to be above a guy, and, you know, they want him to do all the impressing and all that stuff. So that's the reason why, you know, most of the females don't go for the so-called good guys, or guys who was like, you know, have that godly, otherworldly frequency, because a lot of these females, they want to have a guy as a project so they can have like love drama roller coasters, because most females love dealing with narcissistic Satanists. And, you know, And I'm gonna say it again, most females, have the joy of they have the sad soulful joy. They have the sad soulful joy, toxic joy of having roller coaster love dramas with these narcissistic thugs that they try to convert to be these so-called spiritual beings, and it always fails and they always be upset. That's just all facts right there. And like it's the same thing with it's just like this females like in these big countries on planet Earth. Any females that's in these big countries on planet Earth, man, they have this problem. Now females in these small countries like third world, fourth world, fifth world countries that hardly has any people, they're like the only females who's not this corrupted and will actually go for guys who's already like, have this godly, otherworldly, soulful vibrational perfection frequency, instead of going for guys that have this soulless vibrational narcissistic thug frequency, trying to convert them to be these spiritual beings. It just makes, it's wild, man. And to be honest, like females originally was the ones, that's supposed to do the impressing. You feel me? That's just how it originally was. But, slave owners with slavery, they changed that, and it turned around being like the guys had to do the impressing and all that stuff. And we see how that always have a lot of corrupted connections these days in the big countries on planet Earth. And let me tell you something too. The reason why most females don't go for the guys who are labeled conspiracy theorists or geeks or whatever is because like these so-called conspiracy theorists label guys who are not these so-called satanic narcissistic thugs, is because these guys, they're soulful vibrational beings. They are like a shinigami off of Bleach anime, because the shinigamis, like the only ones who can sense them is the people that got spiritual awareness. So guys who have this like this otherworldly spiritual frequency, these females who be going for these so-called narcissistic thugs or whatever that they try to convert to be these holy water dudes, these type of females, they have that superior complex. They don't go for guys that give off that godly, otherworldly spiritual pressure, because these females that go for narcissistic thugs, they don't have the spiritual awareness. They don't have that natural spiritual awareness to go for otherworldly guys like me who are just out of this world. So most females, they're so used to going for guys that have that slave owner frequency, that narcissistic thug frequency. You see it on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, all these different social medias, right? Because like most females, especially in the zodiac, Christian, Freemasonry, the nature boy communities, all these different spirituality, slave owner communities, these females, they don't go for guys that have that otherworldly spiritual presence, because a lot of these females, most females are just afraid of that. Most females are afraid of these so-called godly spiritual pressuring beings. So they go for the guys that they try to convert from Satanists to turn into these holy water dudes, because these females that had that superior complex that complain about most guys ain't shit, they just so used to that lame ass devil energy. They used to that lame ass devil energy. So they go for these weak ass dudes, aka the narcissistic thugs who don't got no spiritual presence about themselves, and they just like, because most females are just lame, soulless, vibrational beings. Because the only females that's gonna go for guys that got that spiritual presence about themselves is the females who legitimately are these otherworldly beings that's out of this world. They're labeled conspiracy theorists themselves. But it goes real super deep, man, because most females that I have messaged or spoke to in person before that pretended to be these so-called, spiritual beings, these females shunned me away, because I wasn't the guy that, they saw as a so-called satanic thug or whatever that they would try to convert to be this so-called, perfect being, because I was already this otherworldly spiritual being that was way beyond their lame ass anyways.